Hey Justin and Mark, this is Max. I wanted to demonstrate a program that I use. It's a video production program. It's really very simple. The program is called Snagit, and I use it to make CMAs for potential sellers and sometimes buyers. And I publish them on YouTube so they can go up, open up the little YouTube video, and watch their CMA at their own leisure. So right here is the program that I use, Snagit. So for this demo, what I'm going to do is a market analysis on Stan and Ann's property on Ohio Place. And I figured that throughout this process that you guys are going through, that people might be looking to you, asking you questions as they try to work through this, the situation with Ann and Stan. Look to you guys as the real estate experts, and so maybe this will give you a little bit of insight as far as what that property might be worth, so that the family could make a better informed decision on what their options are. So looking at that property, and again, I'm flying blind on here, so you're going to be able to apply some of your knowledge of the house to help better establish the value. It's public records is showing 3 beds, 2 baths, and that's an unfinished basement for the most part. If I look back here at the stats of the house, it's ranch style, built in 1962, 1154 up and 1154 in the basement. They're saying that the finish on the basement, it's mostly unfinished. So again, you're going to have to give me an idea of what the reality is of that, if that basement has more of a finish than the 462 that is shown in public records. It says there's 2 full baths, 1 fireplace up, and it says that there's a carport, no garage. So that's the stats of the house from public records. So I just went into the MLS and I did a real quick search. I searched active, under contract, and sold, and the default here is 6 months. That's not really a good, the preferred time. We would like to have the comps more like a 90 days, but because there's such low inventory, we sometimes have to go back a little bit further. So I just left that the same. And we're searching for ranch style houses. And what I did is I did above ground square footage. If you remember, Stan and Ann's house comes in 1154. So I went 10% high and 10% low, and did a map search. And so if we look at the map, this is where the area I searched. I searched a half-mile radius, and so the red dot is Stan and Ann's, and here's the 6 comps, the locations of the 6 comps. So a pretty good set of results there. So I'm not sure about how my matrix works compared to yours, so some of this might be redundant, but this is the distance it is from that Stan and Ann's house. Everything's within half a mile or less of their house. And in the 6 that came up, 1 of them is active, 1 is under contract, and then there's 4 that have sold in that 6-month period. So what I do is I get in the MLS and I take this, I select all of the comps I want to use, and I'm going to use all 6 of these, and I go to this export. And I have set up an export, and you can, if you go through the system, you can see how to set up a specific export. And I made this custom one. It's called CMA Grid, and it takes all of the data from the Metro list that I want to use and manipulate in my own spreadsheet. So I go ahead and export that into my own. So here it is. Here's the information that has been exported, and what I do is it's in a Excel spreadsheet, or Apple's version of that, because I use Apple. And what I can do is I'm going to come up with one for the active comps, one little chart for the under contract comps, and one little chart for the sold comps. So what I do is I duplicate that. No, that was delete. And if I duplicate it, then I can just drag that down. And so the top one, I'm going to reduce these and get rid of the solds and the under contract to leave only the active. And then this next one will be the active. And because there's only one, this sample doesn't quite have the power as if you had more active and under contract. And if I duplicate again, and then I'm gonna have three charts that I'm going to display. One of them is going to be the active, then the under contract, and then the sold. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to do some editing, and I'll show you what my chart looks like in a couple minutes. So here's what I did. I took those that spreadsheet and just kind of modified it, highlighted some things, made it a little bit easier to read. So now I have my spreadsheet that has the current active within 1 mile diameter, half a mile radius, under contract within half a mile radius, and the solds. And I have 4 solds, and I went back further. I went back 6 months instead of the preferred 3 months. So if we look at this is just the statistical information. And once we're done looking at this graph, then we're going to have to look at how those comps actually compare as far as their condition and their features compared to your house, along with market conditions, obviously. So let's look at the only one active. So there's only one on the market. It's been 9 days on the market. Again, based on public records, without a basement bathroom and without a full finish, less than half finish in Ohio, this is how it compares. It has one less bathroom, very comparable in square footage. Depending on the finish, it's going to be very comparable to the Ohio property. They're currently asking $450 for that house. And here's the breakdown as far as the above ground square footage, price per square feet, the finish price per square feet, and the price per square feet for total, whether or not the basement is finished or not. There's the total price per square foot. Looks like the Ohio property has a smaller lot size than a lot of the houses up there in Green Mountain Village. So now, again, market conditions, there's only one that's currently under contract, and that's the one on Exposition. We'll look closer at that one and see how it compares. Has one more bedroom and one more bath, very comparable above ground square footage, so a very similar size ranch. It could be the identical ranch. We'll have to look, and maybe we can tell from the photos. But as these houses age and more people are appraising and measuring the houses, sometimes these houses might be the exact house, the exact floor plan, but the numbers will start to deviate based on appraisals and such. Your in-laws they're the original owners, I think, and so there hasn't been any deviation from that number. But if some of these houses have sold multiple times, we might see some differences in square footage where there really is none. Basement has more of a finish. That one is under contract. We don't know what the actual contract is, but at the time of contract, they were asking $410. The price per square foot above ground, and it was on the market for about 18 days until they got a contract, or until the realtor changed the status to under contract. So, but about 2 weeks on the market, and I would imagine with 2 weeks on the market, there wasn't a lot of give as far as what the sellers were willing to take in that short amount of time. So here's where the rubber hits the road, and we have actual numbers that we can rely on as far as sold comps. And so we have 4 sold comps. On average, they have more bedrooms. On average, 1 more bath on all of them. Square footage is very comparable, within 44 square feet. The finished square footage, again, I'm just suspecting that public records aren't accurate on the Ohio property, and it has more of a finish, but you guys will have to help me out with that one. The overall square footage is very close, within less than 100 square feet, 5%. Looking at the basement, very similar sized basements, as far as these guys are all fully finished and this one's partially finished. So, but on average, those sold comps were got $402,000. Average price per square foot, above, finished, and total. And then the lot size. All of the lots that are used in this market analysis are larger, and kind of a lot larger, a couple thousand square feet, more than 20% larger than the Ohio property. But they're all built in that same era, 1961 and 62. And looking at the days on the market, so that's going to really play into this, is on average, we're looking at a week on the market. So what I do here is I take these numbers and I tell people, these are just looking at very raw statistics, and we're not going to set the price based solely on this graph or these charts. We're going to look a little bit deeper. So if you were to get the average price per square foot above grade, we would price this right at $390. Here's a big discrepancy, and that's with the finish. If we were to take the average finish price per square foot that these 4 comps got and applied it, there's a $100,000 difference. So that shows us that we need to do a little bit more research to come up with a better established price. And then the total square footage is going to be more in line with that number, the 390. So what I do now is I take the people and we're going to go review the actual comps and look and see what they have to offer and how they compare to the Ohio property. So when I usually do this, I have visited the property with the potential seller so that I have a good estimation of what they have, and then I can make remarks and talk to them about how their kitchen, how their baths, how their exterior and landscaping compare with these comps. But I'm flying blind on that, so you guys are going to have to apply what you know about the Ohio property to see where it's going to fit in here. So I take the people back to the MLS, and this is a live screen, and I can manipulate it while we're filming. So I just say that, here's the numbers we want to look at. Here's the comps that we know real numbers. These actually sold and closed. There could be some pie in the sky here with that house that's active and maybe even the house that's under contract. So let's go look at these and see how they compare to their house. So this is where I walk them through a really nice brick ranch. Looks like it has very nice landscaping. To me, those look like older windows. They look like original aluminum windows, and I would talk to the seller about the windows in their house, whether they're also original or whether they're updated. Looking at this house, again, I'm looking for movement. I'm looking for cracks and bad repairs. And this looks pretty original. They got some funky baseboard going on over there, mauve colored carpet, pretty original condition, which really isn't necessarily a bad thing because it means that people haven't made all sorts of crazy modifications and repairs based on what they think the house should have. I'm not sure what these two items are here, whether those are some kind of venting system. Speakers, maybe. So pretty dated, and it shows pretty old. Yeah, I'm looking at original aluminum windows with the storm window on. So it looks like it could use some updating, but it's got what us realtors would call good bones. So it has an updated kitchen, but it's really out of date. So it was updated a while back. Kind of the honey oak looking stuff, maybe maple, and laminate countertops. But you guys can see this and see how it compares to Stan and Ann's house. Wallpaper. So this house could use some updating. So teal in the basement and mauve in this upstairs. So this is the basement. Looks like it has possibly a popcorn ceiling. Again, compare it to Stan and Ann's. Looks clean and very livable in its current condition, but most home buyers in the Denver metro area would feel like it needed updating. Looks like it has a beautiful backyard, really nice and big, flat, level, usable. It has dated electric. It doesn't have the panel in the back, and doesn't really have a high enough mast. But the brick looks nice and clean and free of cracks. Really nice big backyard. So the realtor and me, I'm kind of talking these people through at this point what this house looks like. So that one sold for $370, and so very nice, very clean, in need of some updating, and some expensive items too, like the electrical and the windows look like they could have used some updating. So in this program that I'm using, I can shut off and manipulate and move around. So I shut it down and then I move to the next one. And now if I open up this property, again, good looking ranch. It looks like it might have updated windows on it. Yeah. Oak flooring or maybe pergo. It looks like a little bit wider, but updated. Has a nice funky color in the paint. They opened up the kitchen. Kind of a Pinteresty thing. I think my guess is that was installed. You guys will have to help me out on that. It probably wasn't originally that French or slider door. So they got a nice backsplash. They have hard surfaces here, and then they have a wood block surface there. They opened it up. It's light, it's bright. It's got modern fixtures, light fixtures, cabinets, updated. So again, those windows are newer. Has oak floors. I'm not sure if I would guess maybe under that mauve carpet in the other one there's probably oak, and I don't know what Ann and Stan's property has. But the bathrooms have been updated. The whole upper level has been updated. Maybe not to, that might be a little bit too Kermit the Frog like, but even I'm looking at even the doorknobs and the hinges have been updated. So, and a really nice look in the basement. And so it looks like it has that second fireplace. I would guess that Ann and Stan's might also have something like that. Even if in the unfinished area, it might be a second fireplace. So this one, these are non-conforming basement bedrooms. They don't have egress windows. Basement bath, which is a big deal. So that's that third bath. So they have two non-conforming basement bedrooms. Really good looking. It had a swamp cooler on the top. Really good looking landscaping and hard surface, hardscaping. Again, typically I would know before I do one of these market analyses what the people have, so I can talk through that. So this one sold for $357, but the date was July 13th. So it's a pretty old comp, and we're in an upwardly moving market. All right, so this one looks a little bit more in need of some landscaping. It might just be the time of year the photos were taken. This is a corner lot, and they have that big 2-car detached, which adds some value there. And then they have kind of a funky, I guess it might be a U-shaped driveway that comes from the side street and goes out the front street. So lots of parking for cars and RV type things. Got the oak flooring, new windows. You had some can lighting in there. Can light has been added. Updated kitchen with granite, backsplashes, new windows. The windows, they put in these windows in the brick, these vinyl windows. They have a pretty big frame relief around there. That's not ideal for a lot of people. It looks big and bulky. I'm not sure. You guys will have to know this one. Maybe those French doors, sometimes those were added. Really lousy pictures. But updated paint and light fixtures. Kind of looks like, this is a Home Depot kind of a setup. So it's nice, it's clean, it's not high end. Here's the basement. Non-conforming bedrooms, but it looks clean and usable. I guess this is that little side yard, so the stuff over here, that's that detached garage. So there's this little nook in here. Behind this fence is the side street, and then out this way toward the brick house is the front street. So just a little covered patio with a little nook area. It's nice. It looks like it's just a little bit needing some attention, maybe. Got a chicken coop out the back. Little raised garden area, but a nice flat yard. I'm looking at the electrical. It looks to me like it's not updated again. And then if we go to the last one, I'm looking at the sold comps. So with you guys, I'm not shutting this thing off and making it quite as seamless. Again, nice looking front. It's got the attached 2-car garage and kind of a garden level back. It has that funky, I guess that's probably a dog fence, but it looks like a huge lot. Nice and bright, good looking photos for sure. Newer windows. Looks like they've opened some things up, got rid of some bars in there for the separation of the entry. These are these high definition photos that we commonly use over here. Looks like a kitchen update that is a little bit older. To me, it looks older. It's got like Corian solid surface. It looks nice, but probably, with these big tiles and stuff, probably not what most people would choose right now. But there's the garage door going out. This is more like Aunt Jean's old house. The basement looks pretty good. They have two of these long fireplaces. There was one upstairs and then there's one down here. Clean and very move-in condition, ready. Covered porch. Looks like a little bit, the backyard doesn't look quite as usable. It has a little bit of a slope to it. But it looks pretty big as far as the backyard. So those are the comps. And, I just kind of talk them through the statistics. That one actually sold for almost 440, 438. And it was 4 days on the market. So comparing your in-laws property to the 4 that we just looked at, and then we overlay the days on the market and market conditions, and out of these that sold, we're looking at an average of 1 week on the market. So that's why people can come up here with this Union. And that one on Union is not a really good location because it's on Union, and that's a very, it's on Union, and it, they're currently asking $450 for it. So I'd say your in-laws, and again, you guys have to apply what you know about that property, but I'd say it's a solid above 400, and based on the finishes, based on the lot and all of the condition, it could go significantly up from there. So I thought I'd just share this with you guys. I thought I'd also give you some information on the in-laws property so that when people look to you as the advisors, that you have at least a better than average idea of what's going on in the area. And I just wanted to show you this program that I use. It's cool. It's a little bit flashy. It definitely will work for the right type of client. They can look at this video. I try to keep my videos shorter. I know I've been going on with you guys, but try to keep it 15 to 20 minutes. But really give them a good look at things. I didn't go through the process of what I use for the criteria, I guess. But sometimes I will say we need to eliminate this property because it's not a ranch, and we need to only look at ranches and things like that. So I take them through the process of building the CMA. Then I tabulate the data, put it on my own spreadsheet that I can manipulate a little bit and add some flash to it, and then explain to them, how this applies or maybe does not apply, each one of these statistics to their property so that we can arrive at a good price for them.